I'm joined by Gill Moses of Mortal Talk to discuss upcoming creative workshops which explore life, death and how we'd like to be remembered. The classes, which begin on the 19th of this month, they create a supportive space to reflect, express what matters most and engage in meaningful conversations through writing, celebration and thoughtful planning. Gill Moses, a very good morning to you.
Good morning. Hello again, Alan. Really nice to be here.
Yeah, glad to have you back. Can you just remind people about why this is all happening? Mortal Talk, what inspired you to start it?
So I'd originally been offering Death Cafe, which is a global sort of movement, and there was a bit of feedback about sort of the title of that. And
yeah, because when you were last in with us, it was called Death Cafe.
Yes, it was called Death Cafe, and then also just using the Death Cafe franchise, you're limited to what you can advertise there, really. So I decided to just try and sail my own ship, and so I now go by Mortal Talk because we're mere mortals gathering to talk. Well,
you have softened it up. I suppose, it is hard to, and obviously you're talking about more than death, but it's hard to come up with a title that isn't going to hint at our mortality and to some degree. There's no getting away from that.
Exactly. Lots of different ideas went around my head. I had death talks, dead talks. Some of them have gone already.
I think the key element there was get rid of the word dead or death.
Yeah. So, and there was good feedback, and I like how it sounds on the tongue, Mortal Talk. I kind of like it. So we've had like nearly half a dozen meetings now, and there's a nice broad age range. Some young people come and some senior members of the community. I have some out in East Clare, and I use the Chapel Lane Counselling Centre in Ennis, and I'm very grateful for the space there for the Ennis ones. And from some of the discussions, there's been an interest in a series of workshops that I've called The Living. So we've got The Living Eulogy, The Living Wake and The Living Will, and they're happening in April and into May. Yeah, so I mentioned it's kicking off on Sunday the 19th of April, so that's when the Living Eulogy will be the first one, and then the 10th of May for the Living Wake and the 24th of May for the Living Will. So can you just go into a bit more detail, Gill, on each of those sessions, workshops, and what will be involved? So I've built them around creative writing because that's something I love, and it's a nice, it's kind of, I think, sort of that creativity, it opens us up for expression, and it's fun, it's fun. So the Living Eulogy, you can be writing maybe like with somebody who you care about in mind, but you could also do it as a celebration of yourself. And I suppose the workshop, it's 3 hours. So it's tight. People will get a draft prepared. They may not get a fully polished piece, but I'm hoping that they'd leave with the confidence to sort of tip away and work on it. I'll be looking at kind of how to capture the essence, how to really capture the essence, and how to structure that in sort of like, kind of a creative and exciting way. And then for the Living Wake, I suppose, people may want to, if, say, somebody who they care about is terminally ill, a living wake can be a beautiful way to celebrate their life, bring people together who are important to them, and also just like, why leave it until someone's gone? Why not say how you have really appreciated someone whilst they're still there to take it in, and that can bring actually a level of hope to somebody who is not going to live a long life. And maybe contentment as well, because maybe unbeknownst to you, this person has insecurities or is unsure of how certain individuals feel about them, and confirming that actually you do like them or love them might be nice for them to know before they go. Exactly so. And I suppose the Living Eulogy kind of feeds into that, because you could be, at a living wake, then you've prepared something beautiful to share with them, and then the Living Will is where you tell people, I'm leaving you nothing. Yeah, well, I don't know if I kind of was thinking that, actually. Maybe not that blunt. Not that blunt. But the Living Will, then I want to touch on the Advanced Healthcare Directive, but I don't want to make it just about that, because it's, I want it to be a little bit more kind of alive. It's really looking at like the legacy letter. What would you put in a legacy letter? What would you tell people are your words of wisdom? What are you passing on to the people you'll be leaving behind? What have you learned in life? So the workshops, you can do them one of them might appeal to you, or you can do the three of them at a kind of little bit of a discount. And I just really hope that people get something beautiful out of it.
So, as you mentioned there, you can go to one or two or three, but I guess if you're doing the living eulogy, it makes sense to follow on and stay the course.
I feel it does.
So stay the course.
Yes. I think you get a lot out of it by doing all three parts.
So you mentioned there are 3 hours on each of the dates: the 19th of April for the Living Eulogy, the 10th of May for the Living Wake, and the 24th of May for the Living Will. All of these at Chapel Lane Community Counselling Centre. What time do they get underway each day, and do people have to register, Gill?
They're 2 to 5, and it is helpful if people register. So they can register by am I allowed to give up my phone number? Is that not a good idea?
People can get in touch with us here and we can pass it on to them.
Okay, that's lovely.
So who knows who'd ring you? And it's not just across this month and next month, but you're going to have further workshops in the summer at a different venue.
That's right, yeah, really exciting. I applied for some funding through Creative Island and the Arts Council of Clare County Council, and my project was selected, so I was super excited. It's called Awake at Your Wake. I'm a one for the interesting titles. Awake at Your Wake, and it's specifically for family caregivers of an adult. And we had to select a seldom heard voice, and I feel that this group of people are often not heard. So this may be somebody who's caring for an adult with dementia or motor neuron disease or another life-limiting condition, or it may be somebody who is caring for someone with mental health challenges or maybe addiction. And there are 3 Saturday morning workshops for those, 10:30 to 1:30. They're free. May I just say that they're free because it's funded. Chapel Lane, and it's using creativity again, guided visualization, creative writing, collage, and art. You don't need to be an artist. It's for people who perhaps don't feel confident about that. No experience needed. All materials provided, and what we'll be doing is sort of mapping your life journey and acknowledging the parts of you. There's the big part that's been a carer for a lot of years, but there's also this much bigger part of you that is independent of your role as a caregiver. So I'd be really excited about those, and I have a few inquiries already.
That bodes
but
well.
Plenty seats still available, so I'd love to hear from people.
Okay, well, get in touch with us here and we can pass Gill's number on to you. Gill Moses from Mortal Talk. Congratulations on the rebranding, and thanks very much for joining us this morning. Appreciate it.
It's been a real pleasure, and thank you for having me on, Alan.